everyone, welcome to the first episode of PhyllingPhyne. Today I will be sharing with you my top 10 tips to ensure that you enjoy and maximize your Royal Caribbean Quantum of the Seas 4-day 3-night cruise departing from Singapore. So in this video, I will be sharing with you my top 10 tips to ensure that you have an enjoyable royal experience for your 4-day 3-night cruise on board Quantum of the Seas. So bear in mind that I was actually staying in a balcony stateroom, so I didn't have access to, the butler privileges that those in the suites were enjoying. And also, most of the activities I have participated in are actually free, all-inclusive in your charges. So if you are interested in specialty dining restaurants or paid services like spa, I will not be covering them in my review. So these tips are purely for people who are out to have a fun experience with an all-inclusive charge during their stay on board the cruise. So let us start by the top 4 tips that you need to bear in mind on day 1 when you board the cruise. Alright? So what you have to do when you board immediately, I would suggest, is to change into your bathing suit and head to Flow Rider. So this is when Flow Rider has activities like boogie boarding, and it's actually the least crowded to do so on day 1. Trust me, when I was there on day 1, there were less than 10 people there, and a lot of us, were just videoing our friends and having fun. But when I dropped by again on day 2 onwards, there was always a queue of more than 20 people at the Flow Rider. So do drop by on day 1, pack your swimsuit with you. If you are going to check in your baggage, leave it with you on your hand carry so you can enjoy the moment you board. That is when it is the least crowded. Alright, so the Flow Rider is actually on deck 15, and if you do need towels, you have to drop by deck 14 to rent the towels instead. So that's tip number 1. And now for tip number 2, when you board and you would like some family-friendly activities, you have to book the bumper car. So the bumper car is actually easy to book via the Royal app, and you can do that once you're on board. Connect to the ship Wi-Fi and you will be able to book the bumper car activities. There are a limited number of slots you can book from day 1 all the way to day 3 if you wish. So that's the bumper car tip number 2. And for tip number 3, I would suggest that you actually drop by the Seaplex to actually make bookings for a few free activities like pickleball, foosball, table tennis, as well as Xbox rental. So you can make these bookings physically in person at the Seaplex, and once you make those bookings, do make a mental note or write that down somewhere, because they will not be reflected in your Royal app. So that's a separate booking that you have to remember. Set your alarms because there will be no reminders. So remember to turn up on time, claim your equipment, and enjoy and have fun. Alright? And now for tip number 4. You should actually visit guest services on the day that you board to perhaps find out what activities are actually bookable, what are the latest COVID regulations in place that might impact the plans that you have. And they will also be able to advise you on how to make bookings, for example, for the fitness center, or if there's any specialty dining restaurants that you wish as well, they will be able to advise you on what's the best way to clinch a booking. Alright, so those were the 4 tips for day 1, and now I have 6 other tips for you to enjoy your 4-day 3-night stay on the Quantum of the Seas. So tip number 5, do bring a reusable water bottle or a tumbler, because the cruise will not be providing bottled water throughout your stay, but there is actually drinking water at all of the complimentary dining restaurants, the main dining room as well, so you can very easily refill your tumbler with you. So do ensure that you bring one, or you'll have to buy one on board as well. Alright, and the second tip number 6, is that meals at the main dining room are actually refillable. So you can always order just one portion for yourself, and if you are hungry, you can always feel free to actually order more after that. And do note that that's in the main dining room. Windjammer, which is on deck 14, it's a buffet style, so that's of course free flow for both breakfast and lunch. But if you do prefer dining in the main dining room, which I prefer very much, it's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on day 2 and day 3, and only dinner on day 1. And the meals there are definitely refillable. Just speak to your waiter and he'll be happy to share with you more. So tip number 7. Do remember to turn up early for your performances or any activities that you're joining. If it says 4 p.m, try to turn up at perhaps 3:50 or latest 3:55 p.m. There were some activities that I joined that were indeed full, and due to limited seating and capacity with COVID regulations, they did have to turn away some guests at the door, or perhaps due to the materials that were actually required, they did actually have to turn guests away. So do show up early to ensure that you get the best seat in the house. All right. Tip number 8. Remember to start your day early, especially if you would like to try rock climbing or the flow rider. These do attract a queue, and even though we were operating at 20-25% capacity throughout our cruise, there were always queues for these activities if you did not show up early. So do have a good breakfast, early breakfast, and head straight to enjoy these activities, and you won't spend too much of your time queuing, and I believe that's the best way to maximize your cruise. Tip number 9. Do bring US dollars. So if you'd actually like to try our luck at the casino, or actually use any of the dining or other facilities, these are all chargeable in US dollars. They can be charged to your SeaPass card as well, which you can settle with a credit card at the end, or you can also just pay it off with your USD cash on the last day before you disembark. So US dollars, not Sing dollars, remember that. Tip number 10. These are tips for you when it comes to packing. I would strongly advise you to pack covered shoes as well as socks. So socks are definitely required if you like to rock climb, and covered shoes are important for any activities at the Seaplex like bumper cars or table tennis, and especially if you like to do the physical activities outdoors as well. Covered shoes are definitely required. And next thing to pack is also smart casual clothing. Although this is a cruise and you're here to have fun in the sun, do take note that you have to wear smart casual for the main dining room, for dinner especially. So slippers are fine for breakfast and lunch, but for dinner you have to be in smart casual attire. So for the gentlemen, no singlets, and for the ladies, you can't be turning up in your sports bra for the main dining room dinner as well. So that's all, the 10 tips that I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed the top 10 tips to note for your Royal Caribbean Quantum of the Seas cruise. This is PhyllingPhyne channel. If you do enjoy my video, please hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe to my PhyllingPhyne channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned. List. And also do take note that for dinner,
Why?
I'm filming. Don't, can I finish it? Last one.
Finish it.
Tip number 10.